thanks for watching LF8. We're here with Eric Thomas. Eric, thanks a lot for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Great stuff. So how's England treating you so far?
Oh man, I'm stuffed, man. I have a little regiment that I do every day,
Yeah.
and the fish and chips just blew that out the front. All the calories,
Yeah.
all the little measurement, that's just out there. It's over with, man.
No, that's good.
So
That's good.
I'll be trying to work out from today to get back to my normal weight.
Going a lot of gym and things like that.
Yeah, you do, but more fish and chips than you have gyms.
Yeah, I know. Right, so obviously we're here to talk about your book, your life, and obviously being, a online music magazine. A bit of how it inspired you throughout your times. So tell me about your book. Obviously, we've got it here. What was your aim when writing it?
I had a lot of grandparents and parents who were mad at me.
Yeah.
They would come and hear me speak, and it's unassuming. I'm not, I don't do a lot of flair, and so they would get there and be like, "Wow, I should have brought my grandson. I should have brought my granddaughter. My niece really needed to hear this." And so they were like, "When are you gonna write a book?" Because of course, a book is something they could take with them physically and put in their hand. It was like they gotta hear your story. So after years of just being abused almost with, "When you gonna write your book? When you gonna write your book?" I was like, it's something that I needed to do. And so that was the inspiration, letting young people know what I went through, and that if Eric Thomas can make it, anybody can make it.
Yeah. I mean, did you class yourself as much of an author beforehand?
I flunked English 3 times in college, so I don't think you could call yourself an author when you flunk English. But, again, people wanted the principles, and they wanted people to be inspired, so I had to just buckle down, and make it happen. So I wouldn't consider myself an author, but I definitely wanted to share, through literature, my story.
Yeah, no, that's good. Okay. So, I mean, obviously, you feeling confident about your shows you got lined up for performing? I'm sure there's
absolutely.
no doubt there.
Absolutely.
Obviously, new crowd, new place, so...
And I love it. I tell people I came to London to the UK about 12 years ago. I spent most of my time in Manchester, and it was an eye-opening experience. Let me just say this: I realized, that being born and raised in America, that I needed to broaden my perspective and come in here. I gave a lot of references, American references, talked about a lot of stories, and realized, I had some growing to do. That I had to read outside of my context, outside of my neighborhood, outside of my world. And so I believe my first trip here, and I don't talk about it much, but it really expanded, my horizon, because it taught me, just as life will, that I didn't know as much as I thought I knew.
Yeah.
So it's good to be back. I'm going to see now how much growth I've had in the last 10 to 12 years. And so I'm looking forward to my shows to see if I've really made those adjustments or not.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, so back when you visited before, I mean, I don't really want to talk too much about it, I suppose, but, it's a different time now.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, do you feel that, the English people responded differently to what you said rather than, say, the Americans? Or
I think so, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, I was limited. I hadn't traveled the world as much as I have since that time when I came here. I've traveled the world a lot more. I've watched more than just the American news since then.
Yeah.
I've learned about the lives of people other than just Americans. Of course, most people know through my mixtape, Adele is, man, one of the people that I look up to. I love Adele. I love her work, her life.
Yeah.
So I think that I will be received a lot more because I know the culture now. I know the rules. I know the language a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And when I say the language, I don't mean necessarily English, but I mean, the language, that the people speak. So that was a growing experience, and I hope to leave this time London, and I hope that I will look at some areas that I need to grow in as well.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, obviously, you're a bit of a fan of Adele.
Absolutely.
Then, yeah?
Absolutely.
No, so I mean, obviously, when growing up in Detroit, what kind of music did you listen to then?
Man, when you grow up in Detroit, it's just music. It's not, it's not a certain genre. When you grow up in Detroit, there's jazz.
Yeah.
Of course, Motown. You had people like Michael Jackson, Smokey Robinson. We also listen, to the Whispers. I mean, you just Manhattan Transfers. It's just a variety of music. My parents even exposed us to opera. Just all kind of stuff when we were coming up. And it's funny because when I talk to college students who are 16, 17, 18, they know some of the classics. I'm thinking, how do you know the classics? But that's Detroit. Detroit is just music, and not necessarily just Motown, but music as a whole. So I've been exposed to classics quite a bit. A lot of people wouldn't know, some of the symphonies that I listen to. They're like, Eric, you listen to, Beethoven and Bach, but when I'm traveling and I got my headset, I have so much, on there. But a lot of kids just think I'm just hip hop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I know a lot of people call you the hip hop preacher,
right?
Yeah,
that was the name that was given to me, by a college student, and it just kind of, took like wildfire. Everybody just started saying it, but I think because I use a lot of hip hop references, in my presentations, I use music because I know it's something that, it's universal. It's something that people understand. When you start talking, the Queen's English, it's, for some people that's, it's difficult when you're like, trying to sit kids down and go through literature. It doesn't always click because the written language and the spoken language sometimes are two total different languages.
Yeah.
But music, I don't know what it is about music, but music has a way of, getting in people's soul, getting in people's hearts and their minds.
It speaks to everyone.
It speaks to everyone, and so I love the hip hop preacher because it speaks to, music, and then of course preacher because they say I have so much passion and so much energy that I'm like a Baptist preacher, if you will. So when you put all that together, you got E.T. the hip hop preacher.
I think you're the hip hop preacher. Yeah, I'd agree with that. So I mean, if you were to name one artist, throughout all of your time, who would that kind of be?
Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill. Yeah, because I feel like Lauryn didn't get trapped, in one genre. She's bringing in all sorts of not only music, but also different cultures. She had Bob Marley, influence in there. She had the Caribbean influence in there. She had just so many different, art forms in that miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Then she brought in, like, who does that? She has the classroom setting where the teacher is actually talking to the students, and it's like she didn't get locked in, and that's what music is. Music is about expression. Music isn't a box that you have to stay in here. Of course, when you listen to jazz, there's a frame. There is a system. That's not but they go outside of that. That particular frame, and then their creativity comes in. So for me, definitely, I would say it was Lauryn Hill, and then number two, for real, is Adele, because, she brings in her life. And, when you hear me speak, I'm very transparent.
Yeah.
And Adele is not, she's just not singing some stuff that she heard or that sounds good, but she is literally sharing her life experience, 1921 especially. She's sharing her life experience with the world. So I'd have to say first, because Lauryn Hill came first, the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and then definitely 19 and 21.
Yeah.
I could listen to 21 the whole ride, like from Detroit all the way here.
Really?
Those are the two albums that I have on my iPad and I listen to religiously when I'm looking for that internal inspiration, to do what I do.
Wow, I'm sure Adele would love to hear that as well. Definitely.
Well, I'm not sure if that would make her happy or not, but she's already big time. But definitely, those are the two people that, inspire me. And then, of course, Michael Jackson of old. And not just his music, and so many young people who are in music and who want to make a living out of it, they don't understand the work ethic that Mike had, from a child, 5 years old. They're putting in hours, of practice, hours of the dance, not just the music, but dancing. They all learn an instrument because what it does when you learn an instrument, there's a different sound that you hear. There's a different discipline that you get when you play an instrument, that you become more intimate with music than you do when you just sing. Yeah. So you guys, nobody's ever talked to me about music before. Right, so this is different. And I mean, it's like I said, coming up in Detroit, it's a part of who I am.
Yeah, we thought we'd surprise you with music questions.
Absolutely.
So obviously, I suppose in the early stages of your life, you dropped out of school, became homeless, went through a few hard times.
Just a few.
I mean,
just a few.
Obviously, you could probably expand on that all day. It's what kind of music put you through those times? What got you through it and kind of cleared your head? Do you ever remember kind of listening to?
Yeah, you know what? It's weird because I think it was at that time I became familiar with more of, especially in America, the African American gospel classics, people like Aretha Franklin, but Aretha had, because Aretha grew up in church, Aretha had, that gospel background, people like Whitney Houston, which is weird that these individuals, like Faith Evans, these people like literally grew up singing in church, and so I went with a lot of classics. I found that at that particular time in my life, I needed to be grounded with certain lyrics to kind of get me through, certain things. And so definitely the classics, but also there were, love songs, were important to me. So Anita Baker got me through a lot during those times, songs like, 365 Days of the Year, just a lot of those songs. And then you got, I don't remember his name, but I think it's Bobby McPherson, I think was his name. And he had that "Don't Worry, Be Happy," he would whistle, woo, 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 woo. So it was stuff like that kind of got me through. But I was more of a lyric guy then when I was going through my go-through, because I needed to hear certain words of, you can make it, you can get through this, that this is not, the end of your life, keep going. And so I found myself, really being drawn to some of the, classics during that time. Still hip hop, of course, but hip hop was more fun back in those days, and so there were some other things that I drew from at that particular time.
Got you. No, that's good. Okay, so when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, you'll be successful. Yeah. Where did that saying come from? When did you think about that?
I think that came from, when I really think about it, because the night I said it, I didn't rehearse it. To be honest with you, I don't even remember saying it. The blessing was it was recorded on camera. Thank God for cameras. Right. We had a good microphone there that night. We never used it afterwards. So in reality, it wasn't something that we did intentionally, but it came from, my passion for people. Like, I was really talking to a group of students who were at the university who academically, let's just say traditionally, wouldn't have been there. It was a special program that allowed them to get in, and they weren't taking advantage of the opportunity. And I was so, angry with the fact that they weren't living their true potential. And I just went in and was like, look, guys, you're here. You say you want to be in the university and you want to graduate, but you guys don't really, really want this. You don't want it as bad as you want to breathe. And so where it came from, it could have been a book, it could have been a song, but it was in there, and they brought it out. It got me angry and upset, and they brought it out of me. So absolutely, that's where it came from. Probably, like I said, something I read, something that had probably helped me to get through it. And I was thinking about being homeless and how I had gotten this opportunity, how my whole life had changed from taking life serious. And I wanted to say to them, so what, you have an opportunity. It means absolutely nothing if you don't, as Eminem would say, if you had one shot, one moment to seize everything you've ever hoped for, would you capture it or let it slip away? In his song, of course, Lose Yourself.
Yeah.
And that song that I could hear, do, and so that I was like, guys, you have to take advantage of this opportunity. Eminem, of course, being from Detroit, that was a song that I put in their spirits. And so I think it came from that moment. And we all know that music has a way of capturing certain moments and immortalizing it, So like Adele, what she's gone through, her songs, when you hear it, you could tell it was an experience, but had she not recorded it, she went through that and got on the other side of it. But when she recorded it, for all of us who were going through our go-through, we can play that song and say that, we're going, just like her, we're going to get through our get-through.
Yeah. No, okay. So, I mean, you like to keep fit. You said, apart from the fish and chips, what we were saying earlier.
Absolutely. That'll hurt you, though. Yeah. If I was here, that would kill me, man.
So, what do you listen to music when you're jogging or anything like that?
Yeah, I run. When I run, I listen to all kind of stuff, but one of the things, I love Pink, because Pink has that rawness about her, but Pink has a way of really dealing with real issues too, things that we go through, self-esteem issues, she says, you calling yourself stupid, so I like Pink, I like One Republic, I love One Republic, I love Maroon 5, Coldplay, I love Coldplay, so that's the kind of stuff that I kind of listen to when I'm doing my thing. And then, of course, there's some classics, Pac, always. Yeah. Pac, whatever playlist I have, Pac finds a way on the playlist. Biggie is always, on that playlist. So Those are some of the artists that I listen to, you know, when I'm trying to get in that zone,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm trying to do my thing.
That's cool. All right. So, I mean, obviously before YouTube, without your online success, what was you doing there to kind of get your point across? You know, obviously you had this video on YouTube, and it's kind of exploded. I suppose you've got all these views. You know, before you found the power of the media, I suppose. What was you doing before then to go and get your point out?
Yeah, the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know
All of that to work.
I mean, for real, I can be honest and say I've been doing this for 20 years. I was doing the exact same thing I was doing before YouTube. I think what YouTube does, and we talked about it,
Yeah.
you know, it captures it. You know, it memorializes, like, this is it. Like, this is it's in stone now. So yeah, one group 15 years ago got from me something that probably would be viral, but the media wasn't out. But when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, somebody captured that. So for me, nothing has changed. You know, nothing has changed. I'm doing the exact same thing I was doing before. I would just say that the exposure is greater when you're dealing with media, and I'm grateful. I wouldn't have met you without, you know, the internet. So that's probably the only thing I'm doing different, is I get to meet a lot of cool people from all over the world, you know, and sit down and dialogue with them. But in terms of the nature of the work that I do, nothing has changed.
Okay. I mean, so what advice? I mean, to finish, what advice would you give to anybody in a similar situation to what, you know, you've been in? Anyone going through struggle, hardship, you know, just generally bad times?
I say be phenomenal or be forgotten.
Yeah.
You know, be phenomenal, man. There's no excuse. You could do whatever you want to do. You gotta do it. You know, for real. Nobody's gonna give you anything. Nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. You know, nobody's gonna, you know, put out the violence. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, anybody who's successful, they had to work for it. So I would say, just get up, man. Get out and go make your dreams become a reality. Is life fair? No, it's not. You know, are there people who have some advantages that other people? Maybe so. I don't know. You know, but I always tell people, you will not outwork me. You know, you will not outwork me. A lady said to me early in the interview, Eric, you're only here for a week. What are you going to do? I'm going to murder every day I'm here. I'm going to murder every interview. I'm going to murder every person I meet out here. I'm going to speak to them, and they're going to think that it's just me and them in this world. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to sign each book like it's, you know, you walked in. I looked at the book and noticed that the signature wasn't in there. Like, I'm going to take advantage of every second. And in taking advantage of every second, another second becomes available to you. And so that's what I would say to people. Don't cry. Don't whine. You know, don't make excuses. Don't quit. Don't give up. Don't give in. I would say be phenomenal or you'll be forgotten. Great. What a fitting last name, right?
Nah, definitely. Eric, it's been great. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.